Dermy, hey, wait a second. Who's this guy?
This is Luis Tonahara. Just met him a few hours ago. He's the guy behind this.
Really?
The artist, the designer.
So this is like Mr. Sledster.
This is Mr. Sledster.
Unbelievable. Well, Luis, this is an honor. Tell us about the Sledster. Tell us about the inspiration.
Well, actually, one day I was sitting down at my desk and I was bored. And I personally like 51 Mercs. I love lead studs. And I was like, you know, it would be kind of cool to see this thing as a big rig. And I started just jotting down on a napkin, and here we are.
So what is your day job? I mean, obviously you are quite the inspiration, the artist, the designer, so on and so forth. What are you doing now? Tell us a little bit about Luis.
I'm a toy designer, car designer at heart. I've been in the industry for many, many years. And was doing apparel for a while. I was airbrushing t-shirts, you know, at car shows back in the day. And then I somehow stumbled into the die-cast toy business at Mattel. A friend of mine was working there, and she said, hey, Louis, you know, you should really work at Mattel. I said, no, I don't want to work for somebody. No, I'm independent. And she took my portfolio into Hot Wheels, and they called me right away. They're like, hey, you want to come work for us? I'm like, okay, fine. And when I walked in the building, I was in awe. Like, oh, wow, this is where Hot Wheels are made. Yeah. And I've been in the business ever since. This was back in 2000 for toys.
You're kind of like the Chip Foose of the toy building. I just love that. I think that's great. In other words, your inspirations have turned into all sorts of fantastic projects like this. How many have you done that have been kind of car-oriented, that have turned out like this, that you market?
Oh, God. I mean, when I worked at Jada Toys, everything I did there got turned into something. You know, there was no restrictions on budgets like you have with real builds, where you got hundreds of thousands of dollars tied up into it. You know, granted, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars tied up in tooling for toys, but you reach a broader market. You know, you get your idea out there to everybody. You know, Middle America, Walmart, Target. Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff that I did there. I did a line called D-Rods for Jada. You might have seen a lot of that stuff. Yeah, and then Big Time Muscle.
Oh, Muscle?
Yeah, Big Time Muscle.
I got a couple sitting around here.
Yeah. But a lot of my concepts were able to, you know, be tangible into a physical object. And it was really, really cool because, again, there was no limitations, you know, wheel clearances and roof clearances. I could chop the top as low as I wanted. Sure. I don't care. Yeah. And I like stuff that's extreme, as you can see.
Yeah, I do too. A long time ago, I probably looked him up on Google or Facebook and knew his name. And I was at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and in boredom, I got the phone out again and looked again. There he is, and I thought to myself, hey, you're probably on Facebook. So I went to Facebook and I found you. And you posted something, and there was 8 comments, and there at the bottom was the comment bar. And I'm like, that's how I can get a hold of him. So I put, hey, I'm Derby Close. I'm building Sledster right now. I'd love to talk to you. And
I called you right away.
Right away. In the middle of the wedding, I'm sitting there eating cake, and all of a sudden my phone's buzzing, and I'm thinking this is a robocall. So I called you anyway, and this is Luis Tonahara. I said, I couldn't believe it. I had to get out of my chair, go outside where I could get loud and talk to you. And yeah, this is very cool. So you loved it right off the bat, and I've always loved this. So yeah, I think this is going to work really well. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, one thing I tried to do with the merchandise for the product was I wanted something very slick. So we went with the black poster, you know, really nice rendered images. I just wanted everything attached to this because it was a personal project to just be top notch. I worked at Mattel prior to working at Jada. And when I left Jada, I wanted this to be my signature piece. Like, this is what Louis does on his own. No holds barred, no restrictions. And so everything else attached to it, the packaging, the presentation, the shirts, the posters, I wanted it to be super, super tight, high end. Yeah. This was the car that I designed for guys that outgrew Hot Wheels, for guys that outgrew, you know,
grown-up hot rod.
This is grown-up collectors.
Yeah.
They're numbered, you know, really nice jeweled headlights, a lot of detail. We went for a higher end price point too when we made it. I think $65 was what we were asking, which, you know, for 07, right when the economy tanked, it was tough to get that out of gas.
So you've had an opportunity to be able to kind of look it over and stuff like that. Has Dermy made you proud?
Yes. Yeah, I love all the changes he's added, he's made. All the things that I didn't even think of doing. Like, I never designed an interior for it. You know, I had a concept of a tuck and roll, white traditional 50s custom.
50s, yeah.
So what you got going, I really like.
Thanks.
It's a little bit over the top for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do this, but I think it's going to lend itself well to this build.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Outstanding.
It grows on you, I think, after a while. Yeah.
Well, the engineering behind it is beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Would you drive it?
I can't wait.
He's
That's the first thing I told him.
He's going to drive it.
I want to be able to drive this.
Yeah, we're going to cruise this sucker.
Once again, another episode of That Was Close with the inspiration behind the toy, the actual original thing that made Dermy say, hey, wait a second, I want to do this. I want to make this life size. Lewis, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Absolutely, definitely. And Dermy, what are you going to tell everybody to do? Come on, tell them all.
Tell all your friends to subscribe. Watch these videos. We love it.
Awesome.